I do respect what he's trying to do, but you would never take an inductive argument over a deductive one. Only someone intellectually challenged would do that, in my humble opinion.
So I just want to educate you guys, if you don't already know, on the nature of an inductive argument and the nature of a deductive argument, right? Because this is what the basis of the whole debate should have been about, really. I mean, that's what I took away from it, right? Now, deductive arguments are arguments where the conclusion is necessary from the premises. The one that Hamza gave was, everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. The universe has a cause. Okay? The conclusion is the universe has a cause. Now, because that conclusion is necessary from the premises, you can't argue it any other way.
Now, I believe fundamentally, philosophically, if something which is based upon induction challenges deduction, right? You go with deduction.
Okay. So, from the Islamic perspective, to sum up, I guess, is that minus human beings, the creation of human beings, it's very possible that all other animals, creatures, insects, any other species that may exist may have evolved through the evolutionary process, as the scientific theory tells us. But human beings didn't, because Allah tells us in the Quran that He created Adam with His own hands. Now, some of you may be asking, well, okay, but why do we take what the Quran says over science? Well, it's very simple. It's a topic in itself. We can address it in another video. But in a nutshell, the point is that the Quran we can deductively prove to be from God. We can deductively prove that the Quran is a miracle. And if we can prove this and we can show that it's from the divine, then what the Quran says, the knowledge it contains, is absolute truth, because it's from the divine reality. Whereas the scientific method, and what the scientific method gives us as knowledge, is not 100% absolute truth, because it's based on things such as induction and empiricism, which are limited in themselves. So this is why when we do, if you like, what we call an epistemic weigh-in, which is the more sound source of knowledge, the Quran is the absolute truth. Therefore, it's the most sound source of knowledge that we have.
But there is a form of using induction that can lead to certainty. For example, I have observed 1,000 black crows. My conclusion, therefore, some crows are black.
We have to do an epistemic weigh-in when it comes to source of knowledge, right? Now, here's what we need to understand. Science is limited. It's an amazing method. It's a beautiful method. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to use it, but it's limited. It's limited by its very nature. The Quran is absolute truth, and we can deductively prove it. Obviously, maybe later on, inshallah, at the end or something, we can go through it. But the Quran we can deductively prove to be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we have to, right? That's our source of knowledge. So when it comes to, if there's a difference, say if there's a difference between what science is saying and what the Quran is saying, what do? We go with the Quran.
I just wondered if you could explain the difference between what is something that is deductive and something that is inductive.
Why? What is deduction? That's my question. What is deduction? Do you even know what deduction is? Because I studied mathematics at university. I don't even think you know what it means.
We can still arrive at truth, because you and me, we both believe that we had, going back 100 generations ago, we had a grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not a scientific belief. That's based on logical deduction.
Mm-hmm.